Hello, my loves, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to share with you a bit of my history, a bit of my journey with Leo. I'm going to share with you why I didn't want him and how it's actually impacted our relationship. So before I dive into a very personal experience and journey, just a quick reminder from me. If you haven't already subscribed to the Naturally Cats YouTube channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button along with the bell to get notifications of my new releases so you can help your cat with every video. Now, let me tell you what happened when we got Leo. It was 6 months after Pickle had been put to sleep. And I was literally only just coming to terms with that. I was starting to feel freedom in not having to clean up a litter tray, not have to be home at certain times, to consider feeding another animal, another being. I was literally just starting to feel freedom as I came through my grief. And I remember going for a walk with my ex-husband and we talked a bit about cats. And he said that he wanted to get another one. And he said that he felt like our home needed it. It was missing that extra animal element. And I didn't really give myself a chance to feel into that, to acknowledge or to understand how I felt about that. So we went to a rescue centre and everything kind of snowballed. So we went to a rescue centre, and as we walked through all these pens of these beautiful beings that needed rehoming, my heart was breaking. There were elderly cats, multiple cats, those that had, like deformities or physical issues and challenges. There were ones that had been lost, ones that had been given up. It was, for me, personally, it was one of the worst places I could ever be. And we decided on a pair of cats. We thought we'd have two this time round. Went to reception. They were actually reserved. They just didn't have the little ticket card on their pen. So we went back down and we had to do all again. I had to navigate and negotiate my feelings around practicalities, cost, health, like all these different things. When what I really wanted to do was either A, take them all, or B, not have any. And so then we saw Leo and we asked about him. When we went to reception to inquire about him, the receptionist actually tried to give us a different cat. And it was an FIV cat. And she really pushed for us to have this other cat. Now, we were fresh off the back of Pickle being incredibly poorly for a very, very long time. And I had given everything in me to this previous cat that was poorly. And I couldn't do it again. I couldn't entertain the idea of a cat that had any medical condition, issue, illness, problem, whatever it may be. Even though there are just limitations around that, I just couldn't comprehend it. So when we asked about Leo, we were told that he was feral. He was about 18 months old. He was found as part of a colony in a place where they were basically building houses. And he was going to be rehomed with the colony on a farm to, kind of be kind of cared for, but still have that outdoor life. However, he showed interest in the people at the rescue center. So there was this one girl who basically worked with him, every single day and helped to domesticate him. And when we went to see him, he was kind of cowering away, big eyes, reserved face and body features. And the girl showed us how, you could give him a treat, you could flick it near him, put it near him, and he would come towards it, grab it and kind of run away again. But she showed, how he was open to interaction and engagement with a human. So when we spoke to the receptionist and we talked about having him, basically I said to my ex-husband, like, we either have one, we either arrange it now or we don't have one, because I couldn't go back again. It was that traumatic for me to be in a rescue center with all these beings and feeling their energy, their emotions and the sadness of it all. So we signed the form and we agreed we'd go back 24 hours later to pick up our cat. And I remember leaving the rescue centre like with a lot of curse words going around in my head, thinking, what on earth are we doing? What on earth am I doing? But at this point, my heart had already committed to giving him a home. He was a black cat. He had his ear tipped. As I said, he wasn't particularly trusting or like get cuddly. So he'd been there for 3 months and nobody had wanted him. He wasn't a really overly friendly cat. He wasn't rubbing up against the glass. He wasn't, playful. He, to some people didn't look perfect because of his ear tipped. And he'd been there for a while. So my needs were almost kind of irrelevant. And I agreed to have him. And then when we went to pick him up the next day, I was in the car and I said to my ex-husband, like, what on earth are we doing? It was too late. So we picked him up. We got Leo. We put him in the back of the car. He needed to have a blanket over him, which I'd never even heard of before because he was so timid, so shy, so nervous. And we brought him home and we put him into our downstairs spare room, which I'd set up to, welcome him. And yeah, then I was a cat guardian again. And I remember thinking, I don't understand how this has happened. And now I feel back to it. I'm going to get emotional. Sorry, peeps. Grab your tissues. And I feel back into it now. And actually, I am angry that we had him. I'm angry that I didn't speak up for my needs at that time. And I've just kind of, as I'm talking about this and look at his pictures, recognized and acknowledged that I have been harboring some anger to him towards Leo, which is not his fault. Within the next 2 days that followed, we barely saw him. What I didn't realize was that he needed to be able to hide away. So we went in one day, I think it was a couple of hours later on that first day, and I thought he'd escaped despite the window being shut because we couldn't find him anywhere. And what we realized is that he was actually hiding underneath his cat bed because he needed, Leo, and still to this day needs to be in complete complete darkness if he's not at home. When we go to the vets, even when he's on the examination table, he's got a blanket over his face, over his head, and I cover his eyes for extra darkness. And as soon as he is kind of like the invisible cat, he will settle and you can examine him. And 3 months after we had Leo, he started to cough. We took him to the vets and my heart just knew that it was asthma. And my ex-husband said to me, why can't we just have a normal one? And I said, well, look at the job that I do. We'll never have a normal one. There is no such thing as normal in my opinion. But, of course, he's got issues, problems, physical concerns that we need to support him with because that's what I do. So it took a good few months to get a proper diagnosis, but he was diagnosed with asthma. And if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, asthma is associated obviously with the lungs, and the lungs are associated with grief. So you may have heard me talk about Leo and how we've got a lot of different soul contracts together. But one of the things that I've noticed, particularly in the last 2 years, as I've been going through my divorce, is that when I feel like I can't breathe or I'm holding on to emotions that I don't want to process, Leo starts to cough. So his asthma has been managed at the beginning with tablets. Then we moved him onto an inhaler. He was having it twice a day. Then he would go have it once a day. There were months and months where he didn't have any treatment at all. And now I realize that he is not just a barometer, but he's a mirror for me. So when I am facing a difficult situation and I try to avoid it or I don't want to feel into it, he starts to cough. So I wanted to say thank you to Leo, my gorgeous boy, because I didn't want you when I first found you. And actually, what's happened is that you brought me back to life. You helped my heart to heal from pickle. You helped me to create a space to love again. And you teach me every single day to honor myself, to acknowledge the now, to be present, and to continue to show up. So for that, I say thank you, sweet boy. And I ask you, if you're still watching, to drop into the comments below and tell me, how has your cat changed your life? How have they impacted you? What are you thankful for with them? And I don't just mean that they give you cuddles. I'm talking like dig deeper. Come into your heart space and tell me, what transformation have they brought to you? What awareness have they given to you? And what are you thankful for with them? In the relationship that you have and the connection that you own together. And if you don't believe that that's the thing, that soul contracts and guidance and hearing your cat and being guided by them is real, I would encourage you to think again. I created my Become a Soul-Led Cat Guardian program, which was completely and fully inspired by Leo. The 4 modules that we have are about coming into the heart space and connecting with the cats, receiving their words, their wisdom, understanding those soul contracts, digging deeper into the lessons that they bring us. So thank you to Leo for that. And thank you to you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the Become a Soul-Led Cat Guardian program, I'll drop a link below. It's an application-only program. It's for empaths and sensitives, people that are open to spiritual work, that want to delve deeper into the connection with their cat, past the day-to-day, past the feeding and the litter trays and the behavior stuff, past the enrichment. This is the program is about helping you to understand and connect with the soul and the essence of your cat. So like I said, there'll be a link below in the comments. I look forward to hopping on a call with you to talk it through to see if it's the right fit for you. And I'm going to go and journal and process some of the emotions that have come up whilst I recorded this video. So thank you again, Leo, for that. Have a great day, my loves. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.